Michigan State University had a very clear objective to provide a container of artwork that was something that raised the profile of art and culture for the university.
We wanted a building that was really suitable for displaying art, not only our existing collection, but also to be able to bring in artists from around the world.
All the geometry and all of that is about how you perceive the building, how you perceive the art inside, what the cross views are, you know, distorted views, perspectives. Then this area here, which is the main stairwell, what we call the feature stair, that connects the 3 levels of the building. So we wanted to activate all 3 levels of the building.
Well, the design of the building geometrically is challenging. Obviously the building is leaning. One of the unique parts of the building is that none of the leaning walls are leaning at exactly the same degree.
Contractors could leave their squares at home, I think, when they came to the job.
Zaha Designs, she's very much into kind of natural occurring raw materials, so there's a lot of concrete and steel and glass. Those are the basic building elements.
The materials you see here in this building are trademark materials that Zaha uses in many of her buildings.
It's very difficult to understand it with paper and drawings, but as the project starts to develop, everybody realizes what they're actually building.
After the design competition, early schematics were in excess of $100 million in initial estimates with a $40 million budget. So the challenge was to meet the donors' requirements for gallery space, percentage of the building, the administration's desire for spaces to operate, storage, offices, those kinds of things, and to fit that within budget. The expectation was set by the Broads in selecting this design, and we had to deliver.
There's challenges across the board. Obviously they changed throughout the project, but early on it was a matter of understanding the design intent and to make sure that we could deliver that product for Zaha.
We had to undergo major pre-construction efforts to review the design, make sure it was buildable, and in that process understand the design intent for the materials and be able to translate that down to our subcontractors who are going to be physically putting this work in place and making sure that it was going to meet the strict design requirements.
The traditional construction methods wouldn't necessarily be applicable in order to achieve the final product. So what we had to do, working very closely with the exterior contractors, was to design in some level of adjustability within their systems.
Because it can't flex or move and it has to be exact, we had to design in adjustability and control to allow for constructability.
Everything on the whole project has got to be built to, you know, unbelievable tolerances.
When you start on something that begins at the first floor but then ends up 45, 50 feet, even being off at a quarter inch, which doesn't sound like much, translates into several inches when you get to the top of the wall.
The design really, I think, stretched the limits with the geometry, the precision of some of the materials, the concrete, the stainless steel, for the tradespeople.
The contractors really stepped up to the quality that we demanded and are proud of what the work is that they're completing.
We were working down to a 1/16 of an inch in layout because that was the smallest measurement on a tape measure.
In many cases, some of the suppliers and manufacturers, there's only 1 or 2 people in the world who could do the type of work that we were asking. So it's kind of a limited pool of professionals.
The architectural concrete package, we had to take a material and essentially develop it from ground up. It wasn't as simple as we know our compressive strengths we have to meet. We also had to make sure that the concrete was going to meet all the architectural aspects.
And we went through dozens and dozens of samples until we came up with the right mix. Very tedious process.
We had to do a full-scale mock-up of 2 levels of the architectural concrete to ensure that we not only had the correct concrete mixture, but that we were placing it in the proper placement method to make sure it was going to give us that high-level aesthetic look.
And the team really came together because we were all striving for really something that had been rarely done around the world, is to find a mixed design and a methodology for installing that concrete that really is unmatched.
One of the most unique portions of the building was the exterior facade, being primarily made up of glass curtain wall and stainless steel panels. The stainless steel panels themselves were reviewed in depth and looked at from a constructability along with a durability and functionality standpoint to maintain the interior building climate. Every piece of the glazing system in the stainless steel is all unique, so going through and evaluating each individual piece with its impact to the remainder of the building was quite an elaborate process. Ultimately, we selected Joseph Gartner USA, who partnered with A. Zahner Company to provide the stainless steel and the metal panels in a single package to Barton Malow.
Well, the stainless on the outside, everything on that has to fit within pretty much 1/8 inch. So they're all going off of a grid system. They can pretty much start in the middle, go left or right, and when they get to either end, it fits perfectly. And then, like I said, the glass was all designed within a 2mm tolerance. So getting everything adjusted so it fit was, like I said, was a big challenge.
Communication for this project was so important on all levels with all parties involved.
With a project like this, each aspect of the project builds from one contractor to another. So if one contractor is unable to continue moving, the next contractor can. Whereas a normal project, you'd be able to look for another area for that contractor to work on to keep progressing. If one good person goes stagnant on a project like this, everyone else behind them goes stagnant.
It takes a lot of people working together just to get the job done.
Our team pulled together a variety of methods, including GoToMeeting, WebEx, online meetings, conference calls, and obviously face-to-face as well. All of the members were party to those communications all the way through, including the design assist phase of the project as well.
Barton Malow was really critical to the success of this project. They put together a very strong team, and I think really it's their unbending commitment to quality to bring in subcontractors and instill in them that vision that the university had of having a building, really the highest quality building that you'll see in these parts for quite some time.
The Barton Malow team is careful to come to the design team side to verify that things are being done properly and in the right place, and that we're maintaining the quality.
Well, the project is very special to me because of the kind of building it is, and architecture being, I think, an art itself. So I think there's an affinity between art, culture, and architecture itself.
It's a different way to perceive artwork, but it's also about different experience for the visitor, which, and every day you come here is different. So it doesn't mean you've come here once, you've done it, no.
I think the aspirations were very high from both ourselves and the client.
Certainly unlike any other building on this campus, but I think anybody that gets near it will see the care and craftsmanship that went into building it.
Anybody that has their name on a building like this as part of the team, it's a huge accomplishment.
It's a one-up building. It's a world-class, world-class building.
I think at the end of the day, everyone is going to be happy with the quality and the workmanship that has been put into place to produce this facility. It truly is going to be a world-class facility.
A contemporary art museum that's going to be iconic for the future.
I think when it comes together as a whole, it's going to be its own art and sculpture in its own right, and not just a vessel to hold art.